Look, if you're watching this video, I recorded this intro in post. But welcome to the Lily Pad Porch Chat Podcast. I'm your host, Brother Bullfrog. And in this video, we're going to be talking about sinners. That's what we're doing. Now, to the clip. Look, we need to talk about sinners. Or at least I need to talk about sinners to y'all. Look, I love this movie. I didn't even know much about it before it came out. I saw one edit. I was like, this a hit. Edit so good, I had to see the movie. I mean, I was already missing Michael B. Jordan. And Ryan Coogler, he made Black Panther. I remember when I saw Black Panther as a kid, man. I was up out my seat in the end credits. I'm smart. I'm geek. I'm 32. Yeah. I felt strong in black after seeing Black Panther. So to find out he made Black Panther and Creed, I was like, okay, I'm going to like this movie. And so I'm talking about my kinfolk, friends, folks that have seen the movie. I'm seeing reviews on TikTok literally hours before I'm finna see the movie. I'm like, y'all talking about this 10 out of 10, 100 out of 10. Let me see. So obviously we get to the movie. We watch the whole thing. And the movie had to digest because I'm seeing everybody give their takes. I'm like, but how do I feel? I don't want to hop on the camera and talk about sinners and not know how I feel. But I really started to run through the memories of the movie. I'm seeing the edits. I'm seeing people talk about the characters. And I'm realizing what is my takeaway from the movie, Sinners. And I think what this is, it obviously is a call to self-expression, but also understanding what forces control us and who we call upon when we speak and what we use our voices for. The movie was phenomenal, but it definitely gets black people talking about Christianity's relationship with the community, with our history, with the supernatural, and its attachments to white supremacy. I mean, this is a film that basically comments on a lot of things at once. There's a lot of things you could take from Sinners. You could portion this movie out and have different things to talk about, different things to take away from it, different characters to love. But I think, honestly, if we had to start somewhere with Sinners, let's start with the supernatural aspect of it. The bringing of African American folklore, indigenous folklore, Chinese folklore into one story about how white supremacy has mirrored certain aspects of black culture and what that really means in protecting us from white supremacy. Because, I mean, the demons that the scriptures and such are supposed to protect us from mirror the very same tactics that are supposed to be moving us away from that. And so, I probably should have opened this with, spoilers for Sinners, but if you're watching this, you either want to hear something good or you already did watch it and you just want to be immersed in the world as is. So I could add spoiler warnings, but this is a video about Sinners. There's going to be spoiler warnings. Matter of fact, if you 3 minutes in and you ain't seen Sinners and you expecting me to, man, get the hell out. Now let's talk about Sinners. Bro. Now, first of all, I'm a twin. If for y'all that don't know, I got 3 siblings. One of them is my twin brother, Darius. And so to watch a movie where a man is playing twins with himself, I kind of knew one of them was gonna die. And having a twin brother, it definitely lingers in each other's minds. Where it's like, what will the world be like if I leave or they leave? Because it's like, who's gonna be the one left standing? Because both of us passing, I mean, that's like what type of chance is that? But people making jokes about Michael B. Jordan, holding himself, crying, and then dying in the same in the same shot. But the man's a great actor. Because I liked Stack. I liked Smoke. I did not want to see Stack bleed out, even if he is hunching on white women. Look, niggas no bunny chase. That ain't no issue. But once y'all start hating on sisters, that is an issue. You can like your white women gang, but you still got to be cautious of them. Some of them might bite you. And that's exactly what happened to Stack. And this is a girl he knew for years. She thought she could use her white privilege to talk to these Irish vampires. Or, well, Remick was the Irish vampire. The other two would have just been European descendants of some sort. You know what I'm saying? She tries to use her privilege to talk them up. And when she's talking to Remick, when she's talking to the vampires, their eyes are just dark. You cannot see their eyes at all. And I love that they did that. I love the way characters' gazes are portrayed in this film. And it reminded me of Sammy's father, you know, the preacher. Because his gaze in the film is very uncomfortable, or at least to witness, to be with under. It's very controlling almost. It doesn't feel like a welcoming peer. It's just it's a stab into your soul, like you feel like you're being leered into. And so if they're gonna go take that much detail with the Irish vampires removing the eyes, the window into the soul, do you not think that the gazes of other characters would not also be something factored? And so when you're looking at them, when you have all these scenes of Sammy with his pops, whether it's the beginning or the very end, because it goes full circle, this ain't, the church don't feel like a comforting place. It's all white, everybody sat down, it's tranquil, but this is not comforting. This ain't welcome. It feels like I'm interrupting something. As if everybody is just kind of being directed by one person and I've walked in on something I shouldn't have. That's what it feels like Sammy walks into. I mean, he's bloody, he's scarred up. And his father, you would think seeing a scene like this, the man would run out from the podium and be like, "Boy, are you all right?" But he says, "Son, put the guitar down." What? What the fuck you mean put the guitar down? The guitar don't matter. You would first probably ask, "Hey man, what the fuck happened to your face?" Because the beginning of the movie starts off, you see dude driving. You see flashbacks to the night before where he gets slashed and shit. And so you're like, damn, what the fuck happened to the guitar? What happened to his face? Who was the man that he came to see? I mean, like, you got all these questions. But the funny thing with Christianity is when you ask a lot of questions, you don't get a lot of answers. And so, of course, it makes sense that, well, spoilers, at the end of the film, Sammy don't stay at the church with his father. He leaves. Because the scriptures that he's supposed to be well versed on, he's supposed to be drilled into his head. I mean, shit, he's the preacher's son. They did not help last night. I mean, the nigga that he tried to use it against had the same strategy. He had your pop's whole setup, whole congregation. And he's been probably doing it for ages, considering how long those fuckers live. Because you see Michael B. Jordan in the end credits looking like fucking Will Smith or fucking... or, Bruno Mars, 24. Had Michael B. Jordan, that white girl, looking like Cardi B and Bruno Mars. That ain't funny. But the two end credit scenes is wild. Because I knew of one. So to stay and then see the end credits where Michael B. Jordan's talking to old Sammy, and then he talks about how, you know, he wanted a night of freedom, and that's exactly what he got. And he wakes up paralyzed because, I mean, how are you supposed to feel? You got the one night where you was relieved, all the work, the labor that you be putting in. But right after, you see everybody you care about massacre. Then you gotta leave home to pursue the music that you know in some way brought those demons to you. But people get hung up on that as if the guitar lures demonic entities. But that's the influence of the West Story on Robert Johnson's story, where they talk about he goes to the crossroads in Clarksdale, Mississippi. And the devil, you know, gives him a guitar and he sells his soul for it. But the thing is, that's not quite what it was. Robert Johnson, shitty on that guitar, on whatever stringed instrument he had. Visits the crossroads in Clarksdale, Mississippi. And apparently, a doorway hoodoo deity tunes his guitar and hands it back. And in Sinners, apparently the lore is that the man that gets that guitar tuned by the doorway deity, supposedly Papa Legba, is Smoke and Stack's father. Because you see in the movie, he's like, we did not get this. Stack told you we got this from a contest. No, this is our father's guitar. Remember, Stack didn't see Smoke kill their dad. He woke up and saw Smoke burying him. And so this is not only commentary on how our rooted culture is demonized and made to be akin to demons. But the thing is, the music was not devil tainted. It brought demons. The same way it brings everybody. And the issue was that because we have been put in this ill-fated land, cannibal country, cannibal nation to speak of, we don't have the tools to deal with these demons that show up at our door when we're playing our sacred shit. You get me? Because Annie, she was like, nah, these not even Haints. They vampires. And once she knew exactly what they was dealing with, she said, we're going to need this, 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 and this. Oh, you need to strike him here. You need to do this. Silver. That's exactly what Sammy had in that damn guitar. And so, Sinners, there's a lot of things you can take away about the influence of white supremacy, how it forces you to assimilate and conform, how it forces you to give up the things that really transcribe your soul out loud into the world itself as a power. I mean, you have to give up your connection to everything to even be a part of that structure. Weak burp, but we'll probably get a better one next time. But the film was great to watch. You get what I'm saying? And it even gives us the experience as black people to truly flesh out what this trauma is. What we've lost, what we're left with when, yeah, we got to have our fun and we've survived the encounter, but we live with these scars, and the evils we fought didn't fully die out. I mean, because at the end of the movie, the grand twist is, even if these vampires hadn't showed up come daytime, the next night, if they had held over and survived the vampires, the KKK would have came and killed them. Yeah, and yeah, Michael B. Jordan come out, our action movie, like he gunned them all down and shit. But, you know, sadly, he takes off his mojo bag, and most likely that's the reason he succumbs to that one bullet that causes him to see Annie and their baby. But most likely, a lot of people say, at least a theory I've seen is that the baby dying is what allowed for Michael B. Jordan, or, you know, Smoke's character to be protected. And it's evident he was protected by the mojo bag, because Stack gets eaten by the white girl. She runs right past him and goes outside. And if you don't think that the baby had died for the sake of his protection, Ryan Coogler, I'm pretty sure in the clip, talks about how the idea of a deal or trade. And so if the child's death was a trade for his protection, then that would make sense. Because you don't just pray for things and receive them like Christianity likes to tell you. Oh, ask and you shall receive. That's not the law, the nature of this universe. And I don't even mean that like a supernatural way. But obviously, you want energy, you got to get it from somewhere. You have to transfer that. Even if you don't believe in magic, you sure as hell believe in the circuits and wires that connect us right now. And this reminds me of a story called The World Doesn't Require You by Rion M. McCart Scott. It's a collection of stories, black Southern stories. See, you don't understand that Sinners today is damn near what Things Fall Apart was supposed to be. Well, not supposed to be what it... Things, when Chinua Achebe wrote Things Fall Apart, and if you don't know about that story, you should read it. He wrote that story in response to Joseph Conrad's Heart of Darkness that portrayed Africa as very savage, as very brutish, as cannibalistic, even though these were mere projections. of European countries. Sinners, you could say, is a things fall apart in response to all these slave movies that come out, where black people are basically forced to be re-enslaved all over again, and then have it amplified as a fucking spectacle. And so, because at first I'm in the theater, I'm like, why did this scene get included where Michael B. Jordan, guns down the KKK? I mean, because obviously you get the scenes where he's at the crossroads and he finally gets to hold his baby, see his lady, and meet them, and we get to see, some comeuppance, that even though the twist was going to be that they would have died the next morning, he comes in and mows them down, even though in the trade-off of losing everyone, the trade-off of everyone dying. And so if the theme of Sinners is the trade-off, then we have to start looking at how the results of things may have been a trade-off for something previous. There was another point I wanted to make. I don't remember what it would have been about exactly with Sinners, or with Smoke's character specifically. It was right there. It's like you could talk about all these characters different ways all day. And so Delta Slim, even though he's the most sober character, he has the most clarity about how blues music is what we still keep with us. We didn't have that forced on us. That shit that feeds the soul, we brought that with us. And it's kept us here ever since. And it connects us to that. We can't lose blues. So, of course, Samuel has to leave the church. And I love these characters. I mean, I was born in Clarksville, Mississippi. My folks is Mississippi born. I mean, I got the magnolias and rose for a reason. These tattoos ain't because I'm gang affiliated. I'm a civilian. I'm the highwayman. I work with my hands. Y'all ain't seen Over the Garden Wall? I know some of y'all seen it. It's like 12 episodes on Cartoon Network. But honestly, once I actually get through a whole read of Dante's Inferno and then re-watch Over the Garden Wall, we gonna talk about it. Because this whole thing I be on with Art, Cannibal Nation, y'all about to see some wild shit when I pop out with a Dante's Inferno analysis by a nigga named Dante. That's why y'all need to read E Kings. It's a story with two protagonists. This might be my version of the Divine Comedy, and y'all don't know it. But I remember my point from previous. I wanted to bring up the idea of the crossroads and Smoke seeing his wife and baby after, taking out the mojo bag and succumbing to death as a trade-off. Because to see his child again, he'd have to relieve himself of that protection and lose his life. Because obviously two brothers on the run, they were never going to get a life where they could live happy. And that's the ill fate of a lot of black people. We have to do horrible shit sometimes just to stay living. Whether it's disregard our bodies, our people, or fuck over people just to stay alive. That takes a toll on you. And the trade-off for that obviously is that they execute us in horrible ways. They fence us in to make us feel like we have no way out. Until we're forced into a situation where we make a choice where what's next? What's truly left for us now but death? Because Smoke wouldn't even need protection if he didn't live in a world where white folks were giving him demons. Having him go through hell. Like, this is a greater issue of how they blame gang violence on us. 13% of the population, 50% of the crimes. And it's like, y'all made these conditions. If y'all wanted, if white people legitimately care about black on black crime or anything of that nature, they would be the ones to stop it if they cared, instead of blaming us. But they like a spectacle. They like re-enslaving us on film all over again, a watch. So it's like, of course, we gonna have a little sequence in Sinners where Michael B. Jordan guns down the KKK. I'm talking about he look at the nigga, he like, hey, you got a cigarette? He's like, man, you're a nigger. Sits down, and he like, all right, bro. And nigga finally passes him a cigarette. And I'm like, you know what, fuck it. Okay, Michael B. Jordan not gonna shoot him. He see his baby, he about to hold the baby, and then the white dude interrupt him. I'm like, man, fuck you. And then he shoot him. I'm like, yeah. That's the shit. That made the nigga feel good. I can't lie. You know, then he finally sees his baby, you know, someone passes. No way I could talk about Sinners longer than Sinners lasted. Sinners for 2 hours. And I don't even think I touched on the post credit scene. Hey, y'all see my duck? No, this not a duck. I bought this and did not know what bird it was until I showed it to my sister, and she was like, oh, it's a goose. And I'm like, that's the closest thing. Because I guessed turkey, I guessed duck, chicken, but if this is a goose, that makes sense. But for anyone underage watching my videos, this is a menagerie object. It's glassware. I collect glass. That's not a lie. There's actually a collection of glass bottles right there in my room. Y'all probably seen it in the videos of me oil painting. I'm actually going to make a little video of me oil painting maybe today or later the week. Because I got better. I got better. Because black creativity, black art is very important. And we don't get to see a lot of it. Or at least white folks try and convince everybody that nobody wants to see it. But the thing is, y'all do see it. Y'all still are music. Y'all want black stories, but y'all don't want the ones where y'all look bad. So, of course, like, there had to be, like, some cool white people in Black Panther because, you know, climate and all that. So it's like, we had to have these moments. We had to have Black Panther. We had to have Creed. We had to have Sinners. Ryan Coogler had to start making these steps to come out with some shit like Sinners. And I don't mean shit in a bad way. You know how I mean it. I'm talking about some gourmet shit. I'm in the theater. I talk to my girl. I'm like, hey, bro. He put his foot in this shit. Put his foot in this movie, man. My fault. I'm getting out the way. But that movie was freaked out. Like come on now. What was her name? Pearline? She talking to Sam because, you know, he took it in the back room talking about, I need to wash up. He talking about something. You're beautiful. he looked up at the camera. I just want to taste you. Oh, and I tried to quote that when I was texting my girlfriend on TikTok, bro. TikTok called that a violation. They were like, bro, this is a community guideline. We can't let you saying this, bro. That's not your business. What if I was trying to get freaked out in the TikTok DMs? You wasn't gonna let me? Golly, I didn't know niggas was on your platform getting wild like that anyway. The only thing I'm on there doing is streaks. Actually, I don't be doing streaks. I barely be answering folks' phone back half the time, bro. I be in here drawing or talking about. I be in my own world to the point where it's like, I used to be like, damn, how come some folks don't answer the phone? Now I see why. I be in my own world. It be fucked up too. It's not that I don't consider other people, but it's like there's so many things to think about in this world now, and it's like when children be asking questions, it's like, nah, for real, why is that? And it's like, I can't spend all my days thinking. I can't spend all my days pondering, but honestly, it's fine. It makes this world seem magical. Is it not? Who can say it's not? Who can't say words ain't the magic that we've been looking for this whole time? Because when you apply labels to something, does it change? You get me? Like, once you call something else, once you truly give it a name, does it not change? And I made a video about sinners earlier, where I was talking about how, you know, people are sinners not because they commit bad acts, but because they've been told so. And I mean, obviously, sinners within the pure Christian context. Obviously, there are people in this world that do bad things, and some of a person's actions would define them in a way. But I mean, because within Christianity, it's easier to fall from heaven than it is to rise to it. And so you're constantly in this battle of keeping yourself upright, but also trying to get higher. You get me? So you already shouldn't be lowering, but you have to now stay afloat and then be diligent in this rise of being close with God. Because people talk about that. They have that sentiment, being close with God. But if he's so high up, I'd have to maintain this rise. Or even just a position. And it's so wild that this is what my ancestors have been taught, or at least that was been forced on them. Because now they've ignored the ancestors and dead in the ground that they worshipped and praised for years for God above. That is not the same one as the one the white folks have. That's the truth. And I was listening up on this audiobook. I haven't finished it. I finished books slowly. I'm not going to be talking about books and be like, yeah, I read that. I'm not going to lie to you about a book that I did or didn't read. I keep it 100. Hey, I watched the video on it. I heard this about it. I'm just going to let you know I ain't got that much knowledge. Unless I read or watched the whole thing. But there was a segment in the book that talked about how, the reason why a lot of this, the religions wouldn't have been preserved is because, obviously, to build community. Okay, so imagine. Enslaved Africans on a plantation that have been on plantations for years. They're born here, used to the labor. They're Christian. And so Africans show up from the coast, from the heartland. They show up in America on these plantations. And maybe they have, voodoo or Igbo praises. You get what I'm saying? But to fit in, they can't keep their religion because they'll be isolated. They'll be mocked. They'll feel socially outcasted. And so you have people dropping their native religions for the ones on the plantation to fit in. And is that not what maybe a lot of Christians do now? Go to church, speak the praises of God, say amen, pray, because other people are watching. Because other people will notice if you're not a good Christian. And so, I guess this notion of being a good person. Because Sammy, throughout the film, is trying to prove to Perlon, hey, I ain't no nice little boy, man. I'm grown. That's why he at the bar and shit drinking with the white girl. Because it wasn't until she realized, that's Sammy, that's Smoking Stack's cousin, that, okay, we can talk. Because it was funny because when she looked at Samuel, she was like, man, boy, get the fuck out of my face. I did not know niggas was really talking like that in the 1930s, bro. That shit sounded so modern, so familiar. It's like, that'd be the moments where it's like, that shit, past, present, future, it all overlap. This shit had me. It's just, even her face, she like, get your pissed. But best believe, the two moments that had me most fucked up is when Smoke shows up. Because, okay, so Samuel goes to get Smoke and sees that, they getting busy in the room, so he thinking they having sex. Go back to Smoke, he's like, hey, Stack busy, don't worry about him. He's like, nah, I need Stack, I don't care what he doing. They come back to the room, he's getting chewed. Smoke pull out his gun, bow, 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 bow. I'm talking about to the chest, to the body, to the head. Well, I don't think any really hit the head. She falls to the ground, laughs, gets back up, says, you're all gonna die. And just, but she runs right past Smoke. Like I told y'all earlier about how he protected by the mojo bag that might have been a child's spirit. But she runs right past him into the darkness. Which is wild, because you could have took more of them out. But them bullets probably had you reeling, so. But people are also debating the idea of souls and who the people are in the bodies. But the truth is, throughout the movie, they realize that these people aren't Hanks, but vampires, and that the difference is that the soul is trapped within the body, but is clouded by darkness. So that is Stack as a vampire, and he is dead, but his heart is clouded by darkness. He's overtaken with this ravenous need to do whatever, I guess, he can't go back out into daytime. You see in the post-credit scene, he's talking to Samuel, he's like, that was the best day of my life. Last time I saw the sun, last time I saw my brother. Technically, these men got what they wanted, but it's like, What does it mean to have everything I want and not the people I love with me? Because Samuel had to leave his family. He lost a man that was important to him because Smoke dies. But Smoke does get to see his baby. But I mean, he dies. He loses his protection. He also lost his brother. Like, Stack got the white girl, I guess. And he get to live forever with her, but he ain't got his brother no more. That's why he still got all Samuel's records. And also, Smoke and Stack made a deal. Stack wouldn't eat Samuel as long as Smoke let Stack live. So when Ryan Coogler talks about deals and Sinners, like, he's had that shit hammered in the foundation of the movie. He was like, we're gonna make sure we got this motif all set up. And so I guess that's why Cornbread's like bit of like, hey, you got my $2. When he leave to that nigga at the entrance of the door, and then he come back around with his hand. He like, hey man, you gonna let me in? But when they in the trees and they talking out to Cornbread, and they're like, peace and fellowship, Cornbread. I love me some Cornbread. Funny as hell. I love me some Cornbread. They're preaching peace and fellowship. But when he gets caught by them, he's mauled and converted. He turned. He's bitten. He turned. And so it parallels Christianity in the way of, you may preach love and acceptance, a unity here amongst people, but that's only at your control, at your beck and call, for your benefit, as you see fit, and that's not authentic. It's not true. It's not free. And that's what we're seeing in Sinners. Now, you could probably watch a video essay by somebody a lot more smarter. I mean, a lot more smart. Or smarter, probably might be. Man, fuck the English language. Y'all know what words coming out my mouth. Every time I bump this thing over next to me, it just falls apart. Like, this thing is held up by, like, duct tape and bubble gum. And I'm all out of bubble gum. Stop. Look, if you ain't seen Sinners, go see it. And if you have seen it, go see it again. We can't let black media flop just because white folks mad they gotta be vampires for the one time. Y'all made the Russians evil all the time, bro. Y'all can be vampires for the one time. You know what I'm saying? I mean, y'all's already vampires in Twilight. Y'all just don't like this version. Shit. I hope we get more out of Ryan Coogler. I hope, honestly, we get a lot more shit out of, like, black creatives, whether it's artists, musicians, writers, anybody. We can't lose that. Let's bring with us what we got from home and show the world that. Don't worry about what they trying to have us do, force onto us. What from home do you got to deliver? From home, what do you got? What do you bring with you that you can speak on and share? That can power you up, bring you what you desire. And so, I got all this art that I'm making stuff because I like it. If y'all ain't heard the artist Dreamer Isioma, y'all gotta listen to their music. I think one of the first songs I ever heard by them was Sensitive. And they got this new album out called, Star-Crossed Lover. Man, that shit's so good. You're right, man. I am born to live. And all the midst of these info hazards, the pollution, the inciting of racial arguments. And like, yeah, I say charged stuff. But they want us to fight. Because all I'm saying is observations, and those observations come with some personal bias. It does. It reminds me of One Piece. If any of y'all seen One Piece, y'all should watch it. It comes with a lot of depth. But I want to talk about Fisher Tiger. You know how he takes in that human girl even though humans have done them dirty for years. And he's never going to really forgive, even up to Fisher Tiger's death, he's not going to forgive humans for what they've done to those people. But at the end of the day, he's still a person with a heart. And so on a person-to-person level, it's like, yeah, I care about people, but as a group, you've done that dirty. It's like when white people complain about my prejudice, about generalizing individuals and groups. The difference is that you detach from your group and then complain about the accusations, but what's happening to me is me and my group. So like, this is a group error. The things that affect me that I'm complaining about are because I'm a part of a group. Not, you don't see me as the individual. And so you don't get to complain about the prejudice on the other end and be the individual when you benefit from being a part of the group. You know that. And the racism isn't reciprocal because we don't have an equal playing field. This isn't a fence and two sides of similar conditions. It's a myth. Things are very skewed. And so, from up where you've tried to position yourselves for so long, you do not get to look down and judge. Sinners is a beautiful film. And I guess I want to talk more about black creativity. And I want to talk about my comic E-Kings while I got y'all here. My comic E-Kings is a story inspired, obviously, by my own life. So characters remind me of people that I know personally, or even of aspects of myself. But what I'm writing is a story that comments on white supremacy, on class status, and how spirituality and willpower have been suppressed by society. And I wanted to convey that through the power of words. And so in my story, E-Kings, the people with powers are called orators. They speak their abilities into existence. That's how I word it. But they're also adorned with words, somewhere on their body, or the items that they summon, or the spirits or things that they conjure. Sky's the limit when it comes to this. But obviously, words, communication is the key here. And so with this story, I want to emphasize the idea that, care of the self, understanding of the self, and what you consume and what you expel is all within one cycle that you use for your own benefit. I hope that's not a cluster. But with this story, I want to kind of expand on ideas of what a soul is, what it means to belong to something, how we're affected by the things we consume, and how that defines us, how we can be changed by experience. I want to write a story about black people because if as a child I wanted to see black people in comics and in anime with strange powers, I have to be the one to do it. Because these white people aren't going to do it for me. And they're going to try and stop other black folks that do want to do that. So I've got to put myself in a race too. Because even if I don't win, maybe they could. And if they don't, then I could. Let's put more black stories out there. Because the stories that resonated with me the most were always stories that black people wrote. Not that nothing that people of, European descended status, make. But I'm saying that the stories that I'd be taught in school, it's like, look, I'm tired of reading about white people. I didn't realize that's what it was, but I'm just like, these are settings I don't care about. I don't see myself in these people. These aren't lives that I know of. I mean, yeah, I know in proximity to media, TV, culture. But this isn't the life I know that I resonate with. Because I'm not allowed to resonate with that shit. And so when we get stories like things fall apart or the world doesn't require you, it feels like my world matters. It feels like the emotional connections that I have in this world are not one of a kind and self-contained. It feels like what I'm a part of has always existed. And that there's a beauty in that exists on many levels. And it's a shame that it's only recently that we could even be, begin to put black stories out there in an age where these types of things are to be censored. And that worries me. The people they target, the people they put away, the things that they cover up and hide. what knowledge have we lost? What love have we lost, honestly? Like, honestly, in the shadows of all the hate and fighting in the comments, what love have we lost? Because certain people weren't allowed to speak to us, to embrace us, because it got in the way of somebody else's demands. Who are we at the mercy of? Because whoever it is, they aren't as grand as they want us to believe they are. This world has existed for so long. And each and every one of us are just pieces of this experience, fragmented and splitting multiple times, all over. And so when you think about it like that, if you're here now, you've always been here. And so things have been better. They can become better. We have that blueprint already. But they don't want us to know that. They don't want us to have any of the pieces. So they separate it. And they cover up some and only let us have pieces. So when we think we're on the right track, and then we realize, oh, well, maybe it's impossible, it's because we're still missing something. But it's hidden. It's an integral piece. And sometimes only things can be unearthed that we need when it comes from people's souls, from their hearts. The art they make, the music, the shit they write. Read a book. Please. Sometimes you read something and it brings you to tears. Has that ever happened to you? That's magic. What the fuck my mic doing? That's magic. Like, people talk about wanting to fly and shit in real life. You ever read something that takes you to another world? It has you forget about the life you live in and has you observe the fables of others, learning their stories, their values, going through their triumphs. That's what great stories do. That's what an orator's supposed to do, storytell. And so to see Ryan Coogler come out with such an amazing movie, that nigga is a top-tier orator. Stories have satiated people for years. And if y'all want to really see what I have to say about spirituality, race, class consciousness, the interconnectedness of people, and what it means to value the self, read E. Kings. If you're a fan of anime, if you're a fan of action, surrealness, art history, read it. It's a process making my comic. But I hope that you can trust that what I'm making is something that will really show you up. I hope that when you read my shit, chapter by chapter, you start realizing your heart, your brain start getting illuminated. Because you're feeling exactly what I feel when I write. So when y'all come here and y'all hear me talk and you agree, I've got sights to show you. So look at this shit that I want you to see. If I talk on the mic, you're going to feel the beat. I'm on this floor. I'm moving my feet. It's freestyle, not free. It come for a fee. I'm a school you. Don't need a degree. I'm itchy on the mic. Do not touch me. I'm not asleep, but this feel like a dream. Take off the sugar coat, a sweet fantasy. Ride on the boat. It's a tsunami. All right, let me chill. Y'all not ready for the bars. Y'all not ready for the words I got in store. Let me chill. I didn't have my mic turned around. Y'all probably didn't even hear me that good the whole time. And I probably didn't have my back hunched like this the whole time. I'm supposed to be like, ugh. I'm supposed to be like a man. I'm supposed to be stand up straight. My posture ain't never been that good. I mean, I've been drawing for years. Like, y'all be like, oh, y'all like my... Y'all don't even, like, see the art that I be, like, drawing just in my room until I come out and maybe post it. And so it's like, when people are making jokes about, like, Twitter artists coming out, like, every so month with some art, it's like, that's how it is. It's like, sometimes, for you to come out with that good art that you see on Twitter, you don't get the post. You're just going to have to be in the lab. And I don't even mean that on, like, a grind type way, because I don't treat my art that way. it's more of a urge, a hunger. Like, I consume media and I'm like, all right, let me digest it and spit it back out into this paper. Show y'all what I felt. Let's transcribe what my soul felt about this experience on paper. This is a language. This is a different type of communication. So that's why I draw, really. And if y'all messing with my goose, his name is... I don't have a name for him. Donatello, Da Vinci, Dami? Nah. Dwight? Hell nah. Dondre. Hell yeah. Dondre. If y'all on the Spotify and you can't, you don't know what I'm talking about. I got my orange goose on here. Dondre. But if you fuck with sinners, you'll fuck with my channel. I'm probably gonna have y'all watching me paint, or I'm gonna show y'all how I make my comics on the YouTube with these videos. But if not that, like this video, fuck with me on the Spotify, follow me on Instagram, read Eat Kings on Webtoon, but if you want it out sooner than later, subscribe to the Patreon, support the channel, the comic, all this. And do your daily doodle. Draw something today. Go see the world and come back with a drawing to replicate. But I won't hold you too long. You got to get in the green. I appreciate y'all watching the podcast. I love y'all, man. And honestly, thank you to my patrons. Honestly, let me look y'all up, list y'all out, man. Because y'all thought I wasn't for real about that Patreon. I ain't got too many members already, but I got a few of y'all to support. And so I thank you. Though I don't know if y'all actually like want to be shouted out in the video. So that's a whole thing for me to figure out myself. But look, another chapter of E-King is coming out soon. So you need to get to reading that. It's scheduled for April 30th. And I'm working on the other chapter. It's basically halfway done. So the next chapter will probably be out on my Patreon right after this one comes out. So you could read this one that's going to come out now on my Patreon. And then this one will come out sooner. Done deal. Or you can read for free and wait. Nothing wrong with that. The Patreon's just here for support and so that I can keep doing this. You can still read for free on the webtoon. But also, the Patreon is most likely going to have E-Kings uncensored because they can't say nigga on webtoon. Weird. Like, I don't... They're black. My characters are black. Why can they not say the N-word? But whatever. I wasn't even going to trip over it. Just read E-Kings and get in the green.